Guildhall. If you're watching on Twitch, scroll down, you should see some tiles there. If you do not see the tiles, please feel free to click on my profile image and the tiles should pop up. The first on the list is TNC, that is Talon Claw. They make beautiful wooden tabletop accessories, DM screens, dice trays, dice vaults, all manner of good things, all handcrafted and with exquisite quality. Definitely check them out. And I was just on their site today. They are having a sale on their wooden DM screens, so you'll want to look at that. Make sure you turn off voice in Roll20.
Working on it. My computer is being really slow. Hold on.
No problem. Next on the list, we have the Speechless Bard. Speechless Bard, she makes beautiful handcrafted leather goods for your tabletop games, such as leather covers for your core rule books and dice bracelets. And she has a dice rolling mat. She does excellent work, and if you are ordering as a gift or even for yourself, make sure you give a little bit of extra time. She is over in the UK, so it can take a while to get to you. And last on the list is Fable Beard Company. They make beard products such as oils, balms, beard, butter, and co-wash, all manner of goodness for beards. And each of their scent profiles is a fantasy character. Right now I am wearing the Hero, which is a warm cologne and rich tobacco scent. So definitely check them out. If you go and you are a first-time purchaser, you can select 2 oils. And if you use the code FIRST, it will discount the second one to free. So it's a buy one, get one free. So definitely check them out. Okay, so it looks like we have everybody here. So yeah, in Roll20, because we are using Skype for our voice, click on the little gear icon in the upper right corner, scroll all the way down, and you should see some options there. Make sure it is set to video only, both for broadcast and receive, and then select the reconnect button, and that should solve any echoing problems. I always forget about that myself. Whenever we start a new game, instead of having a global setting, it just goes to whatever Roll20's default is, and so you can get some feedback. All right. So is everybody pumped to play some Traveler here?
So I guess our water main broke. So my husband is turning off the water right now.
Okay. Yeah, we're.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're still waiting for Alyssa. So.
Oh, okay. All right. Whew. Okay. Yeah, but it's supposed to be a minute. He's turning off the water. Not very far. So.
Cool.
I probably check on him. I'm finishing my dinner, but I'm gonna check on him.
No problem.
So how's everyone doing today?
I'm doing good. Pumped to play Traveler. Get this massively huge campaign started.
I'm excited. I might be popping up and down myself because I started dinner too late.
I hear you. So did I.
Etc. Etc. So.
I grabbed Subway before coming online.
Yeah, my wife had to work late, and then I chose to cook dinner, and then I started dinner too late, and then the wrong burner got turned on, and one of my kitchen towels caught fire. So.
Oh no.
No, Kita, stay.
Holy moly.
Yeah.
I just got caught up at Target. That was my excuse.
Right, he wants away. David, are you alive?
Yeah, I'm just shoving food in my face.
Nice.
Stuffing your face, okay. You might want to change your name from Riss to Bakasura.
Don't tell me how to live my life.
Alright, we got a D&D 5th edition level 18 wizard in this party. Oh, can I? This is my son. Look, it's Rexar's model.
Yeah.
What are you looking at, dude?
Your cat has a pet cat. Yeah, you were right. The clip for Rexar versus racism was pretty damn funny.
I don't know what's funnier, how David and Kurt immediately lost it, or how Luke slowly broke character and just goes, God fucking damn it.
So, this first page that I created here, I know that most of you probably already know this, but information on this page is just refresher information like what you can do in an action or for your action. It also has your dice modifiers there for your characteristics. And then also it has, so like for Carrie and Cameron and Devin actually, they were awarded 1 XP point for completing their adventure. And so these are how you can spend them. You probably don't, one isn't going to get you anything on the characteristics, the gaining characteristics table, but gaining skills table, you can spend that to increase a skill. So 1 point will raise a skill that you do not have to 0. If you have the skill at 1, it will raise it to 2, and then goes up exponentially from there. And we're past creation, so your skill limits aren't a problem. You can have, higher than level 4 in any given skill. However, you can never have more skill levels than 3 times your intelligence and education combined, which is still a fairly huge number. I would think, I don't know, Alyssa might be having to look at that because their characters, man, they came out with some skills, just a lot of skills. It might have been a mistake on my part, I'm not sure, but I got to thinking about it like, holy crap, they got a lot of skills.
I'll be back. I forgot my character sheet.
Okay, we're back.
Have you averted tragedy?
The water to the house was turned off. It was kind of hard, so Devin got to do engineer shit with the wrench. So it was pretty good.
Those mechanic skills came in handy. So Cameron and Devin, I was just telling them, Carrie and Devin and Cameron, you gained a skill point for completing that last adventure. And this first page here, if you scroll down, you'll see gaining skills and gaining characteristics. That's how you can spend that point. So if you don't have the skill, you can spend 1 point to gain level 0. And if you have a rank of 1 in a skill, that will bring it up to 2. So that's how you can spend that. 1 point's not going to be enough for you guys to do anything with characteristics, but you can at least gain a new skill, or hey, you can get recon at rank 0 if you want.
I thought it said you could get a characteristic raise as long as it wasn't education or intellect. I thought you could spend 1 point to raise your dexterity, strength, or endurance.
No, it's there's this these tables are out of the optional rules. I'm not using the rules out of the core rulebook. And the reason I'm not using the rules out of the core rulebook is that they go by a what they call study periods. And the problem with that is that every time you make a jump, you're in jump space for 1 week. And so if you're traveling any distance, you could theoretically rank up skills like literally every week. And so I in the Traveler Companion, they have some alternative ways of leveling up, and I'm using their experience point rule. So that's where these tables came from, and that will allow you to level those up. So for for strength, dex, and endurance, it's pretty much a 1-to-1. But for intelligence and intellect and education, it is almost a 2-for-1. So it's a little bit harder to get smarter than it is to get stronger.
So wait, how many points do you need to raise your dexterity by 1?
What's your dexterity now?
8.
So you would need 8 points to go up to 9.
Oh, all right, that's what I thought you meant. I just wanted to be sure. Okay. I'll fix the key.
So if you have that 1 point, I think it would probably be better if you were. I mean, this is my personal opinion. It would be better use to spend it by gaining a skill.
Okay, I'll go for it.
Because, like I said, you can spend 1 point to gain a skill at level 0, or you can spend 1 point to raise a current skill at rank 1 to rank 2. So, like for Devin, I know that you got a bunch of that you got mechanic, but do you actually have any engineering?
I do. I have J-Drive Engineering 2.
What I would recommend doing is that does give you. So you have J-Drive 2, which means that you have all of the others at 0. If you're going to be the ship's engineer, I would highly recommend, in your case, taking like engineering M drive or engineering life support at rank 1.
I think life support sounds good.
Well, you say that. Maybe you want to wait on spending that skill point before and learn a little bit here before you spend it.
Let's do that.
Yeah, that would probably be wise. And so, like, the first thing at the top of this page is the action summary. And so the action summary tells you what you can do on your turn. So you can perform a significant action, or you can perform a minor action. And let me browse through that just real quick, just so that we are all on the same page. So let's see here. So a significant action would be obviously to make an attack with your gun, melee attack, ranged attack like a bow or a blowgun, or who knows in this game. And then there are minor actions. So like another example of a significant action would be like performing first aid on somebody or something like that. A minor action, the first and most obvious thing that you can do with a minor action is movement. And so each character with a minor action, one minor action, you can move 6 meters. Then there are, let's see here, other minor actions. Let's see here. Oh, I stand corrected. Applying first aid is a minor action. Trying to bypass a security system to gain access to a bunker. Using a psychic power. Issuing orders to followers. Or calling in an artillery strike. Those would be considered miscellaneous actions, but they kind of don't fit into either one. As a minor action, you can aim. So on your turn, you could aim, which will give you a +1 to your attack, and then as your significant action, attack. So you get a +1 to your dice roll. You can change stance, going from standing to crouching or lying prone as a minor action. Drawing or reloading your weapon is a minor action. And then there are There are miscellaneous minor actions such as spotting a good sniping position, identifying equipment used by an enemy, or picking something up off the ground or nearby surface. So applying first aid is a miscellaneous significant action, etc. Okay, so that makes more sense. So we are missing one person. I don't know where she is, but we will go
Does
ahead.
anybody have good recon?
I do.
Okay, good. All right, I'm gonna put my point in leadership then.
So the one benefit that Rexar, I don't know, did Bakasura get any good gear from your guys' adventure?
No, well, I mean, I got an arm and a leg.
That's true. You got a cybernetic arm and a leg, although they're nothing special. They're just functional replacements.
3D printed.
Yeah, they're 3D printed prosthetics. Rexar, you got a battle dress and a PGMP, did you not?
Yes.
Okay, so now something to keep in mind. That's not stuff that you're going to normally be carrying around or wearing. You know, you're not going to throw on battle dress to.
Mass destruction.
Yeah, you're not going to put on battle dress to walk around the local spaceport, which is why I told you to keep the flex armor. So yeah. So if you need to commit a war crime, you should contact Rexar.
All right. Yeah.
So.
Good to know. Any words at like technical difficulties, or just like nobody knows?
I don't know. I'm not sure where she is. I
What can we
sent
do?
a message, but I have not heard from her.
Is
Aw.
Luke/Hannibal gonna be here tonight?
Not that I heard.
I just want to point out, I am good at, or I am not bad at everything.
Are you jack of all trades too?
I am jack of all trades.
That I took that also. Awesome.
So
Oh, go ahead.
I like the Diego.
this is a map of the Kleowaha subsector of the Trojan Reach, which you guys are all coming into. Now, Ching Shi, Beth Smith, and Keith Clark are all on their own ship. You're coming in the Jabrobi. But Rexar and Bakasura, they are still part of a crew of an exploration ship. It's a safari ship that's been modified for exploration of the Deep Rift. And they are kind of in between jobs, and they heard, similar to what you guys heard, they heard that there was this, the King of Drinax has put out a call for travelers for a unique job opportunity that literally could change your lives and make you rich.
The infomercial.
Yeah, basically. No details are given in the message that you receive about what this was. And so, Rexar and Bakasura, you are traveling aboard a small trade vessel.
Oh, we're not on the USS list.
No, you're not on the list. Just a moment while I grab the correct book. I thought I was short a book. Let's see here. So the ship that you are coming in on is a small trade vessel, just a far trader. It is an Empress Morava class far trader, and for people that don't know what an Empress Morava looks like, it is kind of a box, but there are two pods in the front that kind of look like the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon on each side. And one side is actually the bridge of the ship. The other side actually holds staterooms. So you get this spectacular ceiling or floor view when you're in your stateroom. The ship is captained by a gentleman who seems a little, shifty, but I'm an honest trader. And his name is, hold on here. There are a lot of people to keep track of here.
Oh, shit. Not my
I couldn't
fault.
even remember the one NPC that's with us, so no.
I'm gonna have to write something down somewhere. That'll be okay. I was gonna remind you that other stuff too. Thank you.
I believe his name is Riconto. He has agreed to take Rexar and Bakasura with him, since he is a known trader that holds a bazaar on the Grand Floating Palace of Drinax. It is a marvel all across the sector. Of course, Ching Shi and Beth Smith and Keith Clark are coming in to Drinax as well. The first thing that you see when you are coming towards Drinax, even at a distance, you can tell that this planet has had some problems. And those problems specifically are that, when you look at old star charts, it shows that Drinax is a garden world. What you are seeing is a brown, desolate desert of a planet. Who has electronic sensors?
I do.
And Rexar and Bakasura, you can make electronic sensors checks as well.
That intellect or education?
Would be education.
Fuck.
Wait, so you add the education modifier, and then do I add my skills? Because I got 2 in electronic sensors.
Correct.
Okay, so I'd be adding
2.
4 altogether. I got 13.
Okay.
That's impressive. I got 3.
I got 7.
7 is close. So on Bakasura's 7, you guys are on the bridge with Riconto, and you are looking at the sensors, and the information that is coming from the sensors on your 7, Bakasura, you know that clearly that this is no garden world, at least not anymore. You're picking up large tracts of desert. You're picking up no cities whatsoever on the surface of the planet. There's 0 electromagnetic information coming back from the surface in any way. However, Captain Smith, on the Jabrobi, you pick up all sorts of information. It is definitely not a garden world. You are picking up high levels of radiation. You are picking up that there is very little surface water. There is a slightly tainted atmosphere. The few cities that you're picking up on the spectrographic display are ruins. Looking at the radioactive decay, you're guessing that something really bad here happened about 200 years ago. The data that's coming back to you show your immediate thought is this planet was hit by an orbital bombardment. And then you pick up information showing that there is something giving off the electromagnetic spectrum in the floating in the atmosphere. And as you approach, you receive a communication from the Floating Palace of Drinax, requesting transponder ID.
What is that? Transponder?
So your IFF. They want to know who you are and what you're doing.
Oh, okay. Sure. You may hail them. I think Keith is the communications officer on the Jabroni. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I'll hail them.
Okay. Come in, IISS Obi-Wan Jabobi. What is your destination?
Our destination is Drinax.
Oh, will you be docking at the Floating Palace?
Yes, let's do it.
You are cleared to dock in the standard starport. The same comes in over the comms on Rishante's vessel, and he says, "Okay, here we go. We're coming into port."
Yeah, so some of the other ships.
And I don't have a good picture, or maybe I do. Hold on here.
Ricardo.
It's Ricardo the traitor.
Yeah.
There's so much stuff that I created for this. Well, okay. Oh, before I forget, when you do something that takes amount of time, this is an example time frames table of how long something will take. So applying first aid, basic technical tasks, you roll 1d6 and that's how many minutes it takes. If all that makes sense. Now, if you guys think that figuring or calculating this stuff on your end is difficult, keep in mind that I have a whole bunch of numbers over here that I have to maintain. One of those numbers is the piracy response indicator number, and that's all kinds of fun. That's some math work. Anyways, so you come in and you see that floating over this blasted surface of a planet is a technological marvel. There is a floating palace. Really, it's hard to call it just a palace. It's almost a floating city in and of itself. And this actually has there's a side view of what this looks like, but it looks like a space station that floats over the planet.
It's an egg.
Kind of. So up in the upper right corner, that shows what this thing kind of looks like. Probably not listing like that because people would be pretty irritated, but yeah. So the Floating Palace of Drinax, you come docking in at number 7, which is the standard starport for what is now Drinax. Rexar, do you have science history? Probably. Make a intellect check, and you get a boon dice. So you roll 3d6 and take the 2 highest.
Oh boy. 9.
That's perfect. So, Rexar, you're looking at this city and you're like, Drinax, why does that sound familiar? And then it dawns on you. So, Rexar is an Aslan and he is from a minor clan. So inconsequential so minor that we haven't even given it a name yet. But you remember your hearing about your ancestors' tales, your great-great-great-grandfather was a part of a fleet that came in and put the Drinaxian king in his place by raising the surface of the planet and leaving him nothing to rule over, purposely missing the floating palace so that he was now king of a desolate wasteland. As you guys dock, both of your ships come in about the same time, and you disembark from your ship. Actually, Qing Shi, make a routine piloting check. So piloting plus dexterity and 2d6, and you want to get 6 or better,
Okay.
or you're going to scrape the paint job.
Well, I got 10 plus 1 plus
Nice.
3. So, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, she makes this look easy, brings it in, no problem, and sets down. And you see that there's this Empress Marava also on the pad, and that disembarking from it is a, Rexar, go ahead and describe yourself.
Hello, my name's Rexar. I'm an Ashland. I like hitting things really hard, and so Aslan are like 7 feet tall. He's a big cat guy. It's white fur. Most Aslan don't have their tail. He definitely still has his tail. He has braids in his mane, and he has a big axe on his back.
Excellent. And then you see next to him, Bakasura. Why don't you give us a little detail on what you're like?
Bakasura wears, I guess, claw armor. He has a hood that he pretty much keeps over his face, kind of like a Jedi or a Sith Lord, just trying to keep himself hidden. His right arm is a cheaply designed prosthetic, and so is his left leg.
Yeah, he had an accident. Thanks to one of his other team members, which is not unusual for their group.
Same team member. That specific team member killing me.
Yeah, right?
Almost screwing me over.
So, Qing Shi, Beth Smith, and Keith Clark, you guys disembark. Qing Shi, why don't you give us a description of what you look like?
All right. I am on the petite side. I am never out of my combat armor. I have a cybernetic arm myself with a hidden blade. And I walk like former military. I behave like former military. Like, everything is very purposeful. But there's something just a little angry and shifty in the background.
So, having been a previous pirate, I thought that you might also wear like a.
Well, I'm not a pirate. I'm not a pirate yet.
Well, weren't you a pirate for a little while after
I'm
you?
not a pirate yet. I'm still happily serving under Captain Smith.
Well, right, but I mean, in your background, you were a pirate for a little
I
while.
haven't done any pirating yet.
So, okay.
I'm looking forward to it.
So it was like a good preparation.
Yeah, I was Navy until our last adventure.
Well, being former Navy, you might actually be wearing like a officer's jacket with the like a 17th century or 18th century style officer, like the navy blue coat with the brass buttons and probably like some epaulets on the shoulders. But you're not wearing it like normal uniform. You just have it open, you know,
Just a vibe.
just casual.
Mm.
Keith Clark, tell us about Keith.
So Keith is an average-sized human, blonde, and carrying himself as if he were a naval officer still.
Okay. What about Beth Smith?
Military.
Beth Smith is blonde and has an undercut and a streak of blue in her hair, and she was in the medical profession for a long time, and then became like a cosmic wanderer for a term. She's bossy and a little bit crazy.
She's also an excellent doctor, so you know, maybe there's hope for Bakasura to get some better arms and legs.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, my arms and legs look like if they got hit slightly harder than a tap, they'll break.
Like,
Put the right arm on his missing left arm and had to put it out immediately after.
we had to redo the whole thing. Start over. Like his arms and legs are put together with mega blocks, not Legos, but mega blocks.
That's never gonna work.
So, on the landing pad, you are met by a this guy, funny little man, bald, wearing a long, very light gray, very thin set of robes, and he comes up and he says, "Oh, would you be here answering King Oleb's request for travelers?"
Why, yes, of course.
And he says, "Oh, and what about you, good Aslan, and your friend here? Are you also here for that purpose?"
Well, yeah, we're here to kick ass and get money, and I pat Barker on the back and try not to like pop his arm off with
Oh, excellent, excellent. I take it that you two parties are separate, but you haven't met. Just join together and come with me. And he leads you. He leads you into the inner circle in here of the palace. As you're going in here, you go through this area, number 2, which you can see Rishanto setting up his bazaar, and you see that it's very strange. So you're coming in, and it seems like everything is covered in white with a gray vein marble, and there are these grand statues, and there are priceless ancient pieces of artwork and tapestries hanging on the wall. Then, in between those statues, you see that there's like tent stalls. There's rope tied to one statue. It goes to another statue holding up a tarp. You see a number of like clothing lines hung up between statues. It's very strange. It seems like there's a displaced population living here in the middle of what should be this opulent technological marvel. And at one end, you see that there is a solid white spire tower that goes all the way up, and it's so brightly white that it almost glistens in the sunlight. Everybody make a recon check.
Okay, here we go. -3 unless you have recon.
I have 0.
Oh, okay, good for you.
So 11.
That's a good roll.
So Keith Clark got an 11.
Yeah.
What did Beth Smith get?
7.
What did Ching Shi get?
6.
Rexar?
I got a 12.
Nice. Bakasura.
7.
So Rexar and Keith Clark and Beth Smith, you look up and you can see in the sky, at first you think they're birds. You see a group of white or of black dots flying around. They're like in formation, but they're not, but they don't seem to be flying in a standard pattern or particular direction. They loop around, and then you see that they start to get larger, and you realize that these aren't birds, they're actually armed people that are flying, and they're armed with staves and laser rifles and equipment like that. And they get closer and they land on the opposite side of the floating palace over here at 7. And the gentleman leading you says, "Oh, come along. Those would be the Hawk Guard. The king has returned from his sortie." And as you get into the palace area, which would be, he leads you into 11 here, and you're kind of waiting. He says, "Oh, hold on." And you can see through an open door that there is this large individual with bright red hair and a bright red coppery beard. And this guy is big. So big that you realize that he's one of the people that was flying around. And except that he's too large for one grav belt, he has to wear 2 in order for the grav belt to lift him off the ground. And he goes he takes off his grav belt and his equipment and goes in, and after a moment, you hear, "Well, bloody hell, send them in. I need to talk to them immediately." And you enter the throne room, and you see I'm sorry. This is the palace. It'd probably help if I moved you along, right? You go into the throne room, and you see this. The throne that he is sitting on, it looks like pieces of ship's hull have been torn off and welded together to form what kind of looks like a modern art version of a dragon skull. And as you come in, he says, "Greetings, greetings. I am King Oleb the 16th. Please come in. I've been waiting for a group of travelers such as yourself to answer my call." And he says, if you don't mind, I shall get right to it. I'm going to get up from this bloody dragon throne and go sit on my grav couch. This is great for entertaining people, heads of state, but it's horrible on my back. And he sits down on a red velvet cushioned couch that has gravity inductors underneath it. And he kind of leans back. He says, "I want to hire you to bring back the kingdom, the empire of Sindal. And I am, of course, going to be the head of that new empire." And he says, he snaps his fingers, and the guy that led you in, he comes over with a scroll tube, and the king opens it up and he pulls out this scroll, and at the bottom, the first thing that you note is that there is the King of Drinax's seal at the bottom, and Oleb's name is signed. And he says, "I want you to pirate your way across the Trojan Reach. I want you to disrupt shipping, and I want you to carry the flag of the Sindalian Empire and bring these worlds under my control. Now, to do that, you will need to travel around and, of course, pirate. And any booty that you get, I get 10% off the top. But you get to keep the rest and spend it how you wish. I would say that it would be wise to spend that money wisely in creating bases, not only for yourself, but once the Empire of Sindal has come back, we need to have some kind of naval a port." And he hands you guys this scroll, and the scroll is a letter of marque that is basically saying that any acts of piracy that you commit are forgiven because you are working under the authorization of the King of Drinax. And he says, now, of course, no one's carried those papers in bloody centuries. Every ship in space is your legal prey, but I don't want cutthroats and murderers. I want thieves. Smart thieves. And he says, now, if you get caught by the Imperium or by the Aslan, I doubt that that letter of marque is going to save your hide or keep them from kicking you out an airlock. But once Drinax has legitimacy, once the powers take us for a serious threat in the region and start listening to us as a government in and of ourselves, all of your crimes will be forgiven. Now, of course, I'm sure that the idea of piracy is probably not enough to lure in good people such as yourselves. I am going to offer you titles in this new empire and land. You will be dukes and duchesses, and perhaps one of you will even become a royal consort. And he says, once every world along that trade route is shared in the bounty, the traders paid taxes to use our space and our starports. Then, because my ancestors were greedy bastards, everything fell apart. The kingdom collapsed, and that meant those cold-blooded Villani snakes picked the Trojan Reach apart. It's every world from themselves out there right now, and solitary worlds can't bloody hold out against the gods' cursed empire. So, here's what we're going to do. I have a ship for you. Now, naturally, you're not going to want to use your own vessel, since you don't want that tied to piracy. Even if you are forgiven, that kind of stain is hard to wash off. I have a Drinaxian Harrier. It is specifically a Commerce Raider, Harrier class. You take the Harrier and you cut a bloody swath across the stars. Attack shipping, raid ports, hit fuel depots, take what prizes you can. Don't kill anyone you don't have to, though. I mean, we want to bleed the merchants until they go crying to the Imperium, not start a bloody war. Pirating is one part of this plan. Part 2 is all those worlds out there, we make them our allies. Sell stolen goods there, defend them from raiders, recruit crew, give them a taste of wealth, and bring them back under the banner of Drinax. When the time comes, we offer the Imperium a deal. The pirate tax stop if they recognize the kingdom of Drinax and give me my rightful due. He slams his meaty fist down on the arm of the throne, and he says, we do this right, and we'll show them there's life in this old empire yet. Now, the terms. We keep this a secret from the Imperium for as long as possible. And that means you keep the letter of marque hidden until we sign a peace treaty. The ship's being loaned to you. You're responsible for repairs and maintenance, but she's coming home at the end. She's going to be my flagship. 10% of the money you make comes to me. Spend as much as you can spare on the colony worlds and curry favor with them. We'll need them on our side if this isn't going to blow up in our face. He leans back. If this works, then you'll be made dukes of my court, and get in here, daughter. This whole scheme was your idea. And a young woman of about 20 years old, maybe 22, comes in and he says, do I have to explain the whole clandestine part of this scheme to you again? And she nods, and he says, if we are going to save this kingdom, daughter, we shall have to trust these travelers. After all, if they succeed, you may well be marrying one of them. And she introduces herself as the Princess Rao. And
At that point, I wink at her.
So this is King Oleb. I guess he's got a black beard, my bad. I don't know. I always imagined him as having a red beard. And then
the question and answer portion of this seminar.
this is the Princess Rao. She looks like she's up to something.
Yeah.
I like her haircut.
So, what questions might you have?
What is up with the radiation?
Well, Rexar, do you want to try to explain, or? The King Oleb says, well, as I said, my ancestors got greedy. About 200 years ago, the then King of Drinax, my great-great-grandfather, decided that he was going to put a 50% tariff on all ships that traveled through the sector. And the Aslan, at that time, the Taliawaha clan, which is a huge trading clan, didn't agree with that. And so they thought that the King of Drinax had gotten a little bit too big for his britches, and they sent a fleet of their warships and told the king that if he was going to be a ruler, he would rule over a desolated wasteland and then use particle weapons and missile strikes, nukes, and bombarded the planet from orbit, leaving just the floating palace. And then they left. And here we are to this day. There are some people that still live down there. They're the let's see, what are they? They're the Vexpers. There's desolate, rough existence, but they occasionally come up to the court and spend some time with us. But that's neither here nor there. If we can get other worlds, then we don't have a problem. In fact, we already have one vassal world that I conquered myself, the planet Asim. That is where we get most of our food, since you obviously can't grow it down on Drinax, but we also have we've converted the hanging gardens of the floating palace into hydroponic space as well. But most of our grain and food comes from the planet Asim.
200 years seems like a long time. Has reestablishing the empire been tried before?
Oh, there's a couple of pocket kingdoms out there. So what you guys know about the Trojan Reach, it's pretty common knowledge. Roughly, what? Let's say it's 1105. Well, in the negative 1100s, the Trojan Reach was ruled by a small empire towards the end of the First Imperium. This empire was called the Empire of Sindal. And, or to be more accurate, the Star Empire of the Dragon of Sindal. Towards the end, their reign was not as long as you might think, but towards the end of their reign, towards the rule of man and the long night in between, the emperors of Sindal became more and more despotic, and they were known for, if there was any kind of uprising or protest of any kind, they would use nuclear weapons, bioweapons on their own people. And so it just got worse and worse and worse until some of those insurgents got a hold of their bioweapons, and they released those bioweapons on the capital of Noricum. The planet Noricum was the capital of the Sindal Empire and was laid waste. There are still people living on that planet, but there are entire regions that are known as dead zones. Nobody travels to the dead zones if they can help it. Biologics, different viruses, bacteria, things like that will kill people in seconds. And this was, what, 4,000 or 5,000 years ago. So the Empire, though, was so pervasive that the people, that it has kind of gone from history into the era of myth. And the people of the Trojan Reach, all of these planets that were under the Empire's control, have all degraded to near barbarism. Some literally barbaric, others in what you would call a form of techno-barbarism, where they still use technology, but they're not much better than living, in a cave. Then there are other parts of the Trojan Reach that are still incredibly highly advanced. One example is the planet Tech World, where the Jadeco, General Development Corporation, brought in a whole bunch of scientists and basically allowed them to do whatever they want with no restrictions. And so Tech World has such a high tech level that when you come in to dock at the docking bay, the actual entire building restructures itself to fit your ship. It's like a nanobot monstrosity that just reconfigures to fit your vessel. So the Trojan Reach, if where you came from, like the Spinward Marches or the Sword Worlds, if you thought of that as being the frontier, in the Trojan Reach, you're all the way into the wilderness. Now, there are two major shipping lines that go through the Trojan Reach. There's the Dust Belt, and the Dust Belt, the reason it's called the Dust Belt is because it was originally started to transfer dust spice, which is a spice that Aslan love. They want to sprinkle it on all their food. It's their Mrs. Dash. The Dust Belt goes through the Trojan Reach and actually ends at a jump 5 route across the rift going into the Aslan Harrier. One of the other main belts is the Drinaxian Main, which meets up with the Dust Belt and actually continues on into the Florian League, which is another political power. So you've got two main lines here where you can strike at ships. Out of the shadows, you see an older woman come out and come over and whisper, just walk casually up to King Oleb and whisper in his ear. And she looks like this.
What?
And Oleb says,
I think that's my 3rd grade teacher.
Oleb looks at you and he says, now, to get you started, I assume that none of you have any real experience being pirates, and so to get you started, I would like to introduce you to Captain Margarete Blaine. All of you can make a intellect check. If you have history, you can use history.
Wow, that's shit.
Bakasura, what did you get?
I got 6.
Oh,
I got
11.
I got 11.
Okay. Rexar.
I got an 8.
And Beth Smith.
4.
So, now, Keith Clark, you got an 11?
No, I got a 6.
Okay. 6-4. You got 11. And Ching Shi, what'd you get?
I got 11.
Okay.
Hey.
So, Bakasura, Rexar, and Ching Shi, you recognize this older woman. Well, you don't recognize her by sight, but you have heard stories of this daring, magnificent pirate woman that has basically been the bane of existence for the Imperium across the Trojan Reach. She's so popular that she's mentioned in video movies that you've seen in Starport's pirate movies. This is the one and only Margarete Blaine. Now, Oleb tells you, I'm going to send Margarete Blaine with you, and I'm going for your first mission. I'm going to send you on a little short run. A short run. And Margarete Blaine says, oh yes, this shouldn't take any time at all. It's fairly simple.
All right.
What's the target?
Who you want killed?
No, we don't want to kill, hopefully, anybody.
Right.
She says, the king and I have an agreement, and Oleb says, it was my idea. And she says, I would like to take you to do an attack, and this will be your first prize. It's a rather unassuming far trader named the Sisendai. It's been plying back and forth along the Sindalian Main for several years. This vessel was actually once a part of my flotilla. And I don't necessarily want the ship back, but there are some things that I have stashed in a smuggling compartment aboard the Sisendai that I would like back. And the ship is no longer a part of my flotilla, which bothers me. It's the only ship I've ever lost. But that's not important. What's important is I get the documents that I'm looking for and the prize that I'm seeking out of the smuggling compartments on the Sisendai. She says, I want you to board the vessel, retrieve the cache of items, and she says, beyond that, any cargo in the cargo hold is yours to trade. You can take it, you can leave it. We want to kill as few people as possible, but if there is if they do decide to resist, then that's on them. She says, in return for that, aside from what you'll make off of selling this initial cargo from your first prize, I offer my wisdom on how it is that I stayed free and out of the hangman's noose all these years. I, you see, am retired. As are my batteries. So she's going to offer to give you this wisdom of hers on how to be an effective pirate. And she says the items in the smuggling compartment are really not that important, but they have a deep sentimental value to me.
Are any of them dangerous?
I'm sorry, what was that?
Are any of the items dangerous?
Oh no, heavens, no.
Okay.
So, she says, I will meet you at the Harrier when you're ready to leave. And King Oleb tells you, come, see your new ship. And he takes you to the Royal Docks, where he introduces you to the Harrier. These are the stat sheets for the Harrier.
Nice.
So you'll note that the Harrier is kind of designed like a bird of prey. It is a Commerce Raider, so it is almost ideal for what it is that that he's asking you to do. It has superior stealth. It'll do a 6G thrust It's got jump 2, and in addition to the jump 2, it's capable of doing an early jump. So you don't have to necessarily leave the 100 diameter limit from a planet to jump. You can jump early. The bridge has holographic controls. She's fancy.
This is cool.
Now,
Yeah.
this picture down in the lower right, that's what the Harrier looked like initially. She now, all of that paint is worn off. And Oleb tells you, well, we found the Harrier floating in the Oort cloud around the Drinax system. She had taken a particle beam hit to her missile launcher. Because of that, the launcher doesn't function as it should. Right now it's being used for storage. The Harrier she's a fixer-upper. So to tell you exactly what this means, so like right now, the Harrier has, where's the hull points? The ventral turret was targeted by Aslan attackers. A direct hit from a fusion bay damaged the turret and the ammo feed mechanism, so it doesn't work. The holographic hull, which would give the advanced stealth, basically originally it could change, the holographic hull could change shape to make it look like another vessel. It remains battle damaged. Only the projectors on the port wing and nose of the ship are still functional. However, the system still draws power as though all the projectors are operating. The ship has double maintenance costs because it just hasn't been taken care of. There are microfractures along the hull. The Harrier had a hull of 88 points. Age has riddled the keel with microfractures, reducing it to a current hull of 72. The military countermeasures suite, the system suffered some damage and was affected by multiple hits from ion cannons. We've been able to restore functionality to the level of the countermeasure suite, but it's still at a +0. It can be further restored to a +1, up to a maximum of +6. The power plant has suffered from a lack of maintenance due to the inability to work on TL-15 ships. We have been unable to repair it. The power plant is at 75% of normal power, which is 195. Now, this one's kind of important. Your pilot's probably going to want to pay attention to this, as is your engineer. The Harrier's jump drive mostly works, but it's inaccurate. It has a -2 to all engineer J drive checks made to jump. So it'll need to be repaired. It has a rather unreliable maneuver drive. So the ship is capable of 6 Gs of thrust. However, it has a habit of cutting out at exactly the wrong moment. If a double 1 is rolled for any pilot check, the ship loses all thrust for 1 round. That'll be something you're probably going to want to repair. Now, the Harrier was built, this ship is, 300-400 years old. It was built at a time during that we had TL-15 capability. Finding suitable spare parts is going to be difficult. Spare parts cost around 200,000 per ton. But I'm sure that throughout the Trojan Reach, and you should be looking for this as you're out pirating, pay attention to rumors. You might find caches of parts and equipment that you can use to repair her. So, like I said, she's a fixer-upper. And I have a sheet here that I will be using that basically, as you make repairs to the Harrier, I will be marking it off. And so this sheet up here to the upper right is what you're aiming for to be complete. Right now, she's not quite running at that full spec. And the ventral turret, like I said, they're using the missile launching turret as for storage. Like, there's like a couch in there and like a couple of boxes, like some Christmas ornaments. It is.
So are we taking time to repair it before we go, or what's the deal with it? Well, it's junk.
Well, you can. If you have ship shares that you want to throw in, you can throw those in. So the way that this is going to work, let me hold this up. The way this is going to work is that there are different repair units available. There are structural repair units, there are technical repair units, and there are cosmetic repair units. Now, you might think, well, who cares about the cosmetics as long as the ship is functioning? But if you're trying to get some of these older worlds to join you under Drinax's banner, and you try to host them on your ship and it looks like shit, then they're not going to take you very seriously. So they're all really important.
Okay.
So, to that end, one ship share is worth one repair unit.
I do not have any ship shares to use for this.
Now, we never really went into... So Keith Clark found a crate with spare parts from Sindal. In that crate, there are 4 structural repair units, there are 4 technical repair units, and there are 2 cosmetic repair units that you can use to fix whatever it is that you want.
Sounds great.
If it were me, I would throw immediately, the first thing that I would look would be the jump drive.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Because at a -2 for your jump, you're looking at the difference between being on target and misjumping and ending up out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So to fix the jump drive, it's a 2-stage process. The first repair can reduce it to -1, replacement of various components. This will require 1 day and 1 technical repair unit. Fixing the rest of the drive and in-depth inspection and testing of all components. The drive will need to be dismantled. The process will require D3 days of work, and the problems will need to be cataloged. It will require D3 technical repair units. So it will take 3 days. So 4 days total and 2 repair units. So you're looking at 3 total repair units and 4 days total of Keith dismantling the jump drive and getting it completely fixed so that there's no detriment to the jump drive. It'll be back in 100% working order.
Is that your recommendation as the engineer?
Yeah, I definitely would prefer to have a functioning jump drive.
Yeah, I think it's cue the A-Team theme song.
So the maneuver drive, to fix the maneuver drive would take another 2 technical repair units, but you only have 1.
Yeah.
However, oh, here's a good one. 1, 2, 3. So 1 structural repair unit and 1 technical repair unit can get the ventral turret working. It will be able to get the missile launcher working, but you'll only be able to fire it forward. An additional 1 structural repair unit and 2 technical repair units would be required to get the turret to fully function. But at least that would give you another gun. Now on the top portion, there is what looks like a second turret. It's not a turret. It is actually a barbette, and it is a particle beam barbette. Yeah, high yield, accurate particle beam.
Is that what you want to do or not?
I like guns.
Yeah,
Ship-related skill is turret 2.
Yeah, if you're going to have the Aslan firing guns, you might want to replace the normal fire control with just a big red button that says shoot or pew.
Yeah.
Press the button that says pew pew.
I give great warning shots.
Well, we're pirating. We need like a space equivalent of a cannon, right? Like, I think
Yeah.
like common sense.
Well, and at the ranges that you're talking about in space, the missiles, even if you can only fire them in the forward position, would be very handy, because now you're talking about your regular round, each turn takes 6 seconds. In space, it's 6 minutes. So it's like, okay, well, we'll fire the missiles, and then we'll wait like 2 rounds to see if they actually hit anybody. So,
Well, are we doing it or not? You're the engineer.
Yeah, but you're the captain.
I know, and I'm telling you to use the engineering skills to make a decision.
I like the jump drive. I like the missile launcher bay, whatever you want to call it.
The turret?
and then you could wait on the maneuver drive.
Yeah.
Now, to give you a better example, this is, you guys are touring the ship with the king right now. This is the layout of the ship in isometrics. It's got a cargo scoop. It's got this whole back end, back in the back of the cargo hold opens up, as well as there's an airlock and a ramp that comes down in the front where people can go down 4 wide, or if they're wearing combat armor, 2 wide. Or if it's an Aslan in battle dress, you can follow him. So, and to give you more example, I think, I know it's here, where is it? This is what the bridge looks like. So, the bridge, actually, the way Sindalian vessels are designed is that there's a platform that comes out to the captain's chair, and then the rest of the bridge stations are down below. And everything in here has brass fittings. The displays are holographic. The chairs are brass with rolled velvet. Even the captain's chair actually has a slot for Sindalian officer's sword, so that they can. You expect whoever's captaining this ship is probably wearing a cape.
Those chairs are really small.
And if you scroll down, this is what the missile launcher turret currently looks like.
Nice.
It's got a ding. You're gonna need an ice cube and a plunger to get that out. And as you are deciding all of this, Margaret Blaine comes stepping onto the ship. She goes, "It's a marvelous ship, isn't it?"
Sure is.
Yeah.
So the kid wants us to fix this up and like make it all badass, and then when we finish, he's like, "All right, I want my cool ship now." That's kind of bullshit.
Yeah, but in return, you're going to be given your own kingdom. So,
And we won't,
Okay, fetch rate.
we won't die. Is probably the best part of upgrading the ship, in my opinion.
The night dying sounds good.
Yeah.
and if you scroll down, you'll see what the bazaar looked like on the Floating Palace. Well,
Sweet, I guess.
Nice.
fat boy. So you're going to fix the jump drive and repair the ventral hardpoint. So you are looking at 5 days.
Is Margaret okay with that?
That should fit into her timeline perfectly.
Okay, good.
Let me.
Your staff,
So here's my paperwork. Let's see here. Okay, jump drive.
Make it so. That's what I should have said.
Jump drive is repaired.
Woohoo!
Yay.
So
Okay.
are we actually doing the repairs, or are like our machines doing the repairs?
You guys are actually doing the repairs, so
Oh no. How many times has my arm fallen off?
so this is why I was saying, Keith Clark, you might want to take that one skill point and put it into engineer M drive, since the M drive is sketchy.
I get that, and I think that's what I'll do.
Okay.
Can I participating in the engineering stuff, or can I like try and rig up something less shitty for artificial limbs? Because I have really good medical and engineering. So.
Sure. You can. So, David, back to Sura. You can open up the Central Supply catalog and look at augments, and pick out a new arm and leg that you can afford.
Oh.
And Beth Smith can make her medic check to put it on you.
I mean, right now he's got the pirate peg leg down.
I got a medical flu, so we're probably fine.
What was that? Which one am I supposed to open up?
Central Supply catalog.
It bizarre looks like an episode of Hoarders, doesn't it?
I will go back to this. Are you finding it?
It said there was issue invalid or corrupted PDF file.
Weird.
Yeah, that happens sometimes.
Yeah, you guys were getting that last week too. Let's see here.
I don't have it. We bought the book, but we don't have it on PDF. So I can't share.
Yeah, yeah. Let's see here. So right now you have a crude prosthetic. Do you want a weapon implant?
Yes. Always.
And do you want a Teal 11 combat arm?
Yes.
So Teal 11 combat arm will cost you 50,000 credits.
Oh.
How many do you have?
6.
Well, didn't you guys split up the money from Because you got 1.5 million.
I am also very poor
But how? Because of... Wait.
because I did a lot of drugs.
Oh, okay.
Well, yeah.
Can I cobble something together out of stuff at the bazaar, perhaps? That wouldn't be too costly. Something would be better than we've got.
Yeah, go ahead and make a medic check.
Okay.
So EDU plus your medic score.
Nine altogether.
Okay. You are able to find enough parts that you can cobble together a cybernetic arm. Go ahead and make a mechanic check at +1.
Ugh, I got 6. That's not so hot. Do I add any of my education or intellect or anything to it?
Yes, you can add, since you're doing it from scratch, you can either, it's your choice to either add intellect or education.
Oh, okay. So I'll make it an 8.
Okay? So you are able to cobble together a combat arm. It looks like a cybernetic arm. I mean, there's no doubting. I mean, you can see the pistons and wires and the frame, the whole 9 yards. Now, an auto pistol implant would cost 12,000.
Yeah, that's okay. I think
Um,
something that won't fall off.
But if you wanted to, you could purchase an auto pistol for probably cheaper than that and continue with your idea. Let me see, an auto pistol.
Don't you have a big ass laser rifle?
Yeah, I got a laser rifle, a snub carbine, a snub pistol, and a cutlass.
He's got a snub pistol that you could put in. So go ahead and make another mechanic check at +1.
Okay, I'm gonna roll different dice. Let's see which
The bad dice and the dice jail.
one. I think I rolled the same. Let's see. I rolled 6 and then add 2 more for that. And then, so 9. Yeah.
Okay. All right. So you have cobbled together this cybernetic combat arm that is functionally tech level 11 with a snub pistol hidden in the palm of the arm. You can make a medic check at +1. So it'd be education plus your medic score +1.
2 plus 3, so 6. 9.
Nice. You are successful. So David, you now have a combat arm.
Yay! Thank you.
Accrues when
Thanks,
it's
He's been armed.
That's nice.
And so now my snub pistol is in my arm?
Correct.
Yeah,
It's pretty handy.
puns are not allowed.
Oh, you're showing that to the wrong person.
Yeah, if that's the case, then you're doomed. Let's see here. So if you want to write down, your particle barbette does 4D damage. Now let's see here, missile rack. The missile rack also does 4D damage.
For the ship then?
Correct.
Or- Oh shit, okay, I wasn't writing it down. Or the... And then what was the first thing, sorry?
The first one was the particle barbette. It does 4D damage. and the missile rack does 4d damage.
All right, got it down.
So after 5 days, you guys are ready to launch. As soon as you're ready to launch, Margarete Blaine joins you on the bridge, and she tells you that where you're traveling is to the edge of the Marduk system. So you will make 2 jumps. So you will be in jump for a total of 2 weeks. And you'll have to do skimming to refuel, because you want to skim and then immediately jump again. So, who's going to make the astrogation check?
Probably.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have a 0 in it.
It's probably me. I mean, like, I don't know. I'm +2.
Oh yeah, it's definitely you. I got us lost in nothing.
Right, so it'll be my roll +2. Is there anything else to add in?
Your education.
Education, okay. That. 15.
Nice. Yeah. You knocked that out of the park. So you've got your course set. Your first stop will be... boy, I'm not sure where your first stop is. Let's see here. I can find out.
Oh, Chris, I had a question about TGMP.
Yes.
It says damage 1 DD. What does that mean?
So DD means that it does so much damage that it does damage on a starship scale. So you roll, for damage, you roll 1d6 and multiply it by 10.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah, it is a brutal weapon.
When you shoot people with a starship gun, they basically turn to dust.
Right, right.
I wouldn't know this from experience.
So yeah, your first stop, you'll come out in the Torpal system, and there is a gas giant there. So, Ching Shi, you'll want to make a piloting check. Now, the question is, so your ship is capable of doing a total of thrust 6. And the idea of skimming for fuel is that you go into the upper atmosphere of a gas giant, which it doesn't sound like the safest thing to do, and you scoop up the gas, and you're going to make multiple runs doing this. How fast do you want to be flying when you do this? Now think of like the big storm spot on Jupiter when you're...
Go faster, help something? Or
Yeah, it doesn't seem like speed would be a benefit other than.
Well, I feel like if we go too fast, we'll take less damage, but get less fuel.
That's true.
Because you're talking about radiation damage, yeah?
Well, and being buffeted around by the winds.
Oh,
I mean, you're like the storms on a gas giant are like a hurricane that's the size of Earth.
Great.
So, actually, I think they said that like 4 Earths could fit in the storm system on Jupiter. So,
Yeah, is that something Margaret would have shared with us because she knows the ship? Like, what would be the recommended thing?
she would recommend that you set the throttle at half.
So at 3.
Yeah.
Whatchamacallit?
Yeah, set it for 3, and you know. So
Yeah.
now at 3, it gives you a -3 to your piloting check.
Okay.
So go ahead and make a piloting check. So that's Dex plus your piloting -3.
Okay.
And remember, don't roll 2 1s.
That would be 8.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, Qingxi brings it in like an expert and is able to scoop fuel. If you'd gone any faster, it wouldn't have been an average roll. It would have required a difficult one. But yeah, at 3, you're perfect. And you're able to refuel. Go ahead and make another astrogation check to jump from Torpal to Marduk.
11.
All right. And you are able to set it up. And actually, I think it's Keith Clark that makes the jump drive check. Sorry, I forgot you the first jump.
Okay, I got I guess 10.
Perfect. The new jump drive works perfectly as expected, and it is as pretty as it should be. It looks like the original Baroque design that was in there. So it looks like something the cross between a nuclear reactor and like a steam engine. I mean, it's bizarre. And you're able to jump to Marduk, which is all the way down at the bottom of the map, at the very edge. As you can see, it has a gas giant. And Margaret, when you come out of jump, she tells Qingxi, she says, you'll want to fly to that gas giant. That's where we'll want to meet. And so she explains a couple of things about being a pirate. And she brings up an example on your holo display. So the dangers of piracy. So yeah, more like Rick. This is a long time coming. Hold on, let me get my whiteboard. You're going to want to sit down and listen to this. So in this case, you're going to be going towards a gas giant, which would be towards the bottom here. And your target's going to be, she expects that the Sisendai is going to come out of jump, and they're not, because they are smugglers, they're not going to go to the planet Marduk or go to the high port. Instead, they're going to want to skim fuel. Now, what you want to do at this point is, when they come out of jump, is the perfect target, because they have no fuel to make another jump usually. So they're going to go to the gas giant and they are going to go to skim fuel. What would be perfect is if you could place the Harrier, your ship, hiding in the ring system, and then as they go to refuel, that's when you hit them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Now, the Marduk system, the gas giant for Marduk is way, way, way out. So it's not like, this is a perfect first shot for you guys, because it's not like there's going to be any help coming. Even if they call for help, nobody's going to come to help them, because it could take a couple of hours for the high port to even receive their distress call. So, Qingxi, do you want to place the ship into a stealthy spot in the rings?
I do indeed.
Go ahead and make a piloting check. Great. Okay, so yeah, that's really good.
Oh, that's because I'm not rolling for anything.
So before we go any further, Bakasura and Qingxi, you are both psionic. Are you going to let anybody else know that you're psionic? Now, I know that Beth Smith knows you're psionic.
Yeah, but Captain knows I'm psionic. Whether Bakasura wants to or not, I'm going to pull her aside and let her know that he is new. Discreetly.
Okay.
Oh, thanks.
Because why are we
Thanks for your discretion.
to the captain? I don't know you.
That means only one person.
So, and if I remember correctly, you're both Jodani too.
I am, yeah.
Yeah, so you're both Jodani. So, okay.
Thank you.
That's great. Good.
So now Beth Smith's in on the secret.
Does fucking Sarah know that she told? Probably.
Probably not.
I must be able to like shield that part during the conversation.
Yeah, psychic concealed for about a second.
Yep, you automatically, if you have telepathy, you automatically get the shield trait.
Nice.
Well, I'll keep that information to myself for now.
Only one person's
So-
not gonna know.
So you guys actually, you are hanging out in this floating with your power at minimum settings. You're floating out in this ring system for 12 days. Who is operating your sensors?
I'll do it.
Okay, make a electronic sensors check.
I got it.
Before I do that, does anybody have any proficiency?
I have two. I have a two. Yeah.
I veto my volunteering.
So, David, did you spend your one skill point?
No.
You have one skill point. Hold on here.
I'm saving it.
Oh, you're saving it? Okay.
He's saving it for marriage.
He's saving it for marriage.
I gotta save something.
He's the Jodani walking around with a promise ring.
What characteristics modifier do I add to a electronic sensor check?
It would be EDU.
All right. So I got 11.
Indeed, you find on the sensors they light up with the radiation spectrum of a ship exiting jump, and you are able to pick it up. It is a far trader. Fits the description that Margarete Blaine has given you. And indeed, it immediately turns and heads towards the gas giant.
All right, let's execute Margaret's plan. Do it.
Okay. So Ching Shi, I guess you're the one piloting. How do you want to go about it? Do you want to try to sneak up on him and get real close?
Are they in range?
They're heading towards the gas giant now. So the question is, do you want to just come out of the gas giant or come out of the rings and be like, haha, we got you? Or do you want to sneak up on them while they're refueling?
Well, I don't think personally, but I will answer to the captain. I don't think we should have a chance to refuel.
I agree.
Because then, if we wait until they're refueling and we miss our opportunity, they get away. If we attempt it before they refuel and miss, we get another shot.
Yes, let's do it. That's exactly right.
Run into the gun.
Okay.
Okay, so Rexar's running. Rexar, are you taking the particle barbette or are you taking the missile launchers?
Can't do both.
Yeah.
No.
We want to be able to board her.
Right, yeah, so I don't know, missiles might not be a good idea at this point.
So vaporizing it does not get us to the hold, and we want to be able to board her.
What if I just stand on the outside of the ship with like mag boots on and just shoot my weapon?
Shoot a big nuclear flamethrower. I mean, that is, of course, an option, but...
No, I'll go with the particle blast.
Okay. So, Ching Shi, make an astrogation check to intercept.
10, 11.
Nice.
Wait, no, 10. Sorry.
That's still
Still,
very good.
I can't math. Okay.
So make a piloting check and you get a +2 to that.
Oh, Jimmy Cricket. Okay. Ooh, that was not as good. You said piloting?
Correct, and you get a +2 to that.
Oh, then that's better, 12.
All right, so she comes in. I guess Captain Smith, do you want to make a leadership roll?
One floor into the breach, dear friend.
Leadership. And we got a 0 leadership, and do I add education or?
You would add probably your social.
Okay.
7? Okay, so whoever on your side wants to, go ahead and make a
Wait, was 9 not 7?
No, that was a 9.
Yeah, not a 7, a 9.
a 9. Okay.
Yeah.
So whoever on your side wants to make a initiative check. So basically, you're going to want to probably Ching Shi, since she's the pilot. So Ching Shi, make a initiative check for your ship,
Okay. That's a lot of pressure.
and you get a +1 to that roll.
Great. So initiative, do I add anything to it? Is it just 2d6?
You can add either your dexterity or your intellect, your choice.
Oh, it is correct. 13.
Okay.
You know, maybe throwing them on the ground by accident is working for me.
So the Harrier has the initiative. Rexar, do you want to shoot to hit their ship? It's up to you. You could shoot to hit them. You could shoot to try and target their drive. You could shoot to just a warning shot, and somebody could jump on, like Keith Clark can jump on comms and order them to stand down. How do you want to go about this?
We'll have to target the engines.
Okay.
Keep the fuel scoop.
And if I miss, it's a warning shot so someone can jump on comms.
People as possible, though, right? And they'll just die if they're stuck completely.
So Rexar, so the particle barbette gives you a +2 with its firing, or with its fire control, plus your dexterity, plus your gunner turret skill.
Alrighty. That is. Oh. That is 15.
Wow.
Laser-like precision.
So to tell you how fast the Harrier is, the Harrier can pull 6 Gs of thrust. The Sissandai is only capable of 1 G of thrust. So you're able to close range really quick. And you hit their M drive with the particle beam. Go ahead and roll 4D damage. You got really quiet all of a sudden.
Oh, sorry. Is this better?
Yes. How much?
Yeah. 15.
Wow. Okay, so tits.
Did I over?
Yeah, you you guys see this particle beam come out from the top of the ship and or the bottom of the ship and slam into the back of this far trader, and you see an explosion and venting of gas, and it just starts to kind of list and turn sideways and float sideways towards the gas giant. Do you guys want to tell her to stand down?
Yeah, I think now's a good time to open comms.
Hello.
Howdy.
Now, something else that I should tell you, the transponder on the Harrier has like 5 different transponder codes. The first one would be the normal transponder, which identifies it as an Empire of Sindal Commerce Raider. The second one is like, it tries to identify itself as a free trader. The third one is like, you know, an ore hauler. But the 5th one is actually blank. And if you use the blank transponder code, that is akin to flying the black. By transmitting a blank transponder, you have a Jolly Roger. So it's up to you which one you're transmitting. You probably don't want to transmit too often that you're a Sindalian ship, because sooner or later everybody's going to be like, oh, they're from Drinax, and we'll follow them back to their home port. So you don't want to do that.
Yeah.
Do the blink one.
Yeah, let's do the pirate one. Let's go for it.
I have this image on the Sisendai's comm screen. They're getting the pirate virus from Archer.
What?
Yeah, what? Okay, so what do you say when you contact them?
Do you want to open comms and have the captain speak, or do you want to have the...
I'll let the captain speak.
Okay.
We're not here to hurt you, but if you have something important that we need to get back, prepare to be boarded.
Okay, go ahead and make a persuade check.
We're not here to harm you.
Yeah, smoke comes out of their drive.
We are your new saviors.
Well, I was very sincere when I said it again, but I got 10, so pretty good.
Nice. So, yeah. He says, this is the Sisendai. We're cutting power. You can dock when ready. Ching Shi, make a piloting check. It will be an average check. So you want to get an 8 or better.
Let's see. I got 13.
Okay. Ching Shi brings the Harrier up and docks the airlock, the lower airlock, right to their airlock. No problem. So, how do you guys want to board this vessel?
I'll go first if I call him that back.
I'll go behind him holding my scimitar in the air.
Okay.
I'm gonna grab my breaching gun.
Okay.
I'll have the static reaver and my grab shield.
Somebody needs to stay behind. I volunteer.
Okay.
I'm gonna strut, that's for sure.
So what are you doing? What's Beth Smith doing?
I'm gonna strut.
Okay. All right.
Swag on.
I got all the place.
All right. With only a few minutes left, we're going to break there, and we will pick up your boarding action next week.
It's everybody in your most powerful pose, so that we're all ready when the cage drops and the
But-
smoke comes out, standing there like a rock band. But everybody just breathes in that spot.
But this is, so here's a little picture of you guys chasing down the Sisendai, and this is the layout of the Sisendai.
That was pretty cool.
Nice.
I'm excited for next week. That'll be
Yeah.
awesome.
But
All right, we will pick this up next week on Wednesday night at 7 p.m.
rad. Thanks everybody.
Thanks, guys.